Hey everybody, and welcome back. This is episode number 18 of the Future Solutions Fence and Outdoor Clip of the Day podcast. My name's Dave Gatto, and I'm your host. What I want to talk about today, guys, I want to talk about how to become a good salesman. What does it take to become a good salesman, and the different tips and tricks that I learned in sales that made me successful in sales. So I'm going to bring it back here, guys, to my very first sales position. All right, I was at a time in my life where I was completely broke, I was homeless, and I had no job. I had nowhere to go, and I was talking to somebody, and they said, hey, Dave, there's a sales company that's hiring. It's for traveling sales. You'll be selling magazines door to door. I call these guys up. They're like, sure, we'll hire you. They asked me how old I was. I talked to them. The next thing you know, the very next day, I'm on a bus going out to Billings, Montana with my little bit of possessions I had, which was a little bag of clothes, right? So I come out to Billings, Montana. They give me the rundown. They say, okay, here's how it works. You get a $20 base salary if you make no sales. You're going to be provided with 3 days of training where you shadow somebody out there, and then you're going to be on your own. Now, here's the kicker, right? The job's all commission. So if they have to give you 7 base commissions of $20 in a row, you're not selling anything, so you're out. And what they do is they buy you a bus ticket and you go back home. Now, fortunately for me, I did not have a home to go to, so I had to make this work. Because I'm going to tell you guys, through this process, if I would have had resources to draw on, if I would have had money to fall back on, I would have been out. And to be honest with you, if I had that decision, if I had that possibility to leave, then I wouldn't have the business I have or be talking to you from this studio that's in my beautiful home right now. So I had to become very resourceful in order to get resources. So guys, I go out there, I'm like, all right, I trained for the 3 days. I'm like, I got this. I could just go. The salesman made it sound so easy when they were out there. So how it works is you get into vans and you go to different neighborhoods. They drop you off in a neighborhood and they say, okay, 2 hours, here's our rendezvous point, come back, and we canvass the neighborhood, the community, in whatever state that we're in. We come back, we load up in the van, and we go to the next one. So I'm out there, guys, I'm knocking on doors, and I'm confronted with the fact that this is not easy. I do not know how to talk to people. I do not know how to handle rejection. I'm nervous. I'm very uncomfortable, which I found out it's very important to put yourself in uncomfortable positions. And I'm just not good at making sales. But guys, I do not have a fallback plan. So I have to make this work, right? And in sales, it's a repetition thing. It's doing the reps. It's going out there. It's getting rejected. It's getting doors slammed in your face. And it's becoming creative, working on yourself, figuring out ways to make your sales spiel work, to get people to like you, to get people to buy off you, right? So I had to figure all this stuff out. And I'm telling you guys, I made my bones in sales. I earned my stripes. I've been spit on. I've had doors slammed in my face. I've been punched. I've been arrested in multiple different states for soliciting without a permit. I mean, locked up all over the place, from Las Vegas to California, Nebraska, Wyoming. I mean, I can go on and on, right? But I was determined to make this happen, right? So I found out a lot of things about myself doing this, and I had whole entire days of rejection where I was out there from sun up to sundown. I'm in the dark, haven't made a single sale, and people are slamming doors in my face, and I got to go back and tell my sales manager, hey, I didn't make no sales after a hard day of work and be given a skimpy 20. Now, I'm looking around at my friends in there. These guys are making $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 a day. They're drinking bottles of Patron. They got nice clothes. They have big, thick wads of cash, jewelry on. And I'm like, man, how do they do that? I want that. So what I would start to do is I started getting creative with these people, okay? I found this out. I found out the number one thing is this. Nobody likes to help a loser out. So we were involved in a contest where whoever did the most sales, whoever did the most magazine sales won an all-inclusive paid-for trip to Cancun, right? And it was a real contest, and that was the theme behind the magazines, right? Because nobody wants to actually buy a magazine subscription, right? So we had to sell ourselves out there. So And I tried this both ways because, I would talk to customers and I'd say, hey, I haven't made a sale all day. I need to make this sale. They're going to send me back home. And when people found out that I was the loser out there, they would shut the door in my face, right? So then I switched it up and I started telling people that I'm winning the contest. I'm winning. I'm 5 subscriptions, 10 subscriptions away from winning my trip. And I found out that people wanted to help winners out. That was the first thing. The second thing, guys, was this, is that I had to be able to elevate these people at the door. I had to be able to lift them up, lift their spirits up, and get them laughing. That was my number one thing. And I started getting very creative with this, right? So I would knock on the door and they would open up and I'd say, hey, it's nothing bad, don't shoot, or just going around the neighborhood. I'm in this contest here. And I would run it down to them and I'd get them super excited and tell them that I'm winning my contest. And I would say, and guess where I win a trip? I will win a trip to. And they'd say, where to? And I'd be like, I'm going to win an all-inclusive, paid-for trip to Ethiopia. And I would just see their faces fall. And I was genuinely excited about it, right? So then I'd be like, no, I'm just kidding, right? And I'd get them laughing. Next thing you know, I get an invite into their house, right? And once I'm in the house, I can make the sale. So I learned to ease them up because you got to realize when you're knocking on a door, right? People are prepared for that. Once they find out you're a salesman and a pad case comes out of your back pocket, they immediately want to slam the door in your face and get out there. They've been bombarded, especially in nice neighborhoods, by lawn care people, roofing companies, all the pesticide companies, whatever you could think of. And here's another person that sounds like they have a rehearsed spiel at their front door. So you have to get creative, guys. And I really had to go inside myself and figure out ways to be creative, right? So I had to get them to like me. And then, I had to overcome other things. Like people would say, hey, we don't read magazines. We don't buy magazines. I'm sorry, I can't help you out. So I would figure out a way to say, okay, how do I get around that? And I would say something like, okay, well, maybe we can just donate a subscription and you could help me out to win my contest, right? I'm winning this contest. So we could donate a subscription to the Ronald McDonald House or the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And guys, I've donated more, well, actually customers did, but I made more sales that were donations to the Ronald McDonald House than probably anybody on the face of this planet, okay? Because it was a niche that I got into and I found a way around a problem and how to solve it. Right? Even I would just get creative. Like I would, if there were military bases that I was going on to, I would tell the people in the military, I found out and engineered out a way to where that I can get the subscriptions overseas to the soldiers. And when they said, oh, well, my husband reads magazines and he's over in Iraq or wherever he might have been at the time or wherever he was stationed at, I'd say, oh, not a problem. We do this all the time. Here's how we do it. We do this, we do that, and it goes over to him there, right? And so I would always be coming up with solutions and always getting creative. And the more reps I did, the more rejection, the harder the sale, the better I got at it, right? Because a smooth sea never made a good sailor, right? And it was that stuff that built me up to become a top-notch salesman. And then in the end, I eventually became a top-notch salesman, right? I learned confidence. I learned how to believe in myself. I learned how to close a sale. And it all came from the reps, guys. Because, listen, we could read every sales book in the world, and they're all going to tell you the same thing. Hey, you got to be positive. You got to find out about the customer. You got to find out, what problem there is to solve out there. All the stuff that they're going to tell you in these books. But if you don't go out there and you don't experience that uncomfortableness of banging on the door and getting rejected, getting doors slammed in your face, then you know what? You're not going to make it out there. Okay, because what you learn out of a book and without any experience is completely unhelpful. Now, if you have the experience and then you read a book, that's when it becomes helpful. And especially when you're doing it out there, that's when it becomes really helpful. And I'm telling you right now, so one of the things too that made me really, really good in sales is I would go out there and there were several magazine companies that would be canvassing these neighborhoods. So people had already pounded this territory out there. I'm knocking on doors and they're saying, hey, we already sold to a company, ACI, or bought off them, and we don't need any more magazines. And I came back and I told my boss that, and I said, the neighborhood's been hit. And he would say, sell over top of them. Now that's a sale. All them other sales are give me. If you can sell over top of a sales agent, that's a sale, right? And I learned how to sell over top of those agents that were already out there and made a sale or already spieled them. And for me to be able to get that sale, right? It was the reps, guys, that did it for me. It was the reps continuously going out there 7 days a week and putting myself in an uncomfortable position. And guys, it made me successful in all areas of my life, right? When I had gotten done with that sales company, I found out that I can sell anywhere, doing anything. I mean, I've sold candles door to door, put a theme behind it. I've sold light bulbs. I sold insurance. I sold energy audits. I sold fences, whatever it took. We used to go around the neighborhood and we used to sell raking jobs for raking people's lawns door to door when we were younger, right? And we would rake their lawns so much that I'm telling you, we were raking their lawns bald. People wanted to help us out because we were winning and we were positive, guys. So if you want to become good at sales, what sales is the backbone of every business, you have got to get out there and you've got to put yourself in uncomfortable positions out there. And to this day, I still do it, guys, because even in my company, I have salesmen out there that go and do the sales. I have people in my office. I don't even need to do anything at work, but I like to challenge myself and remain uncomfortable. I'll go out on a Segway and knock doors in a neighborhood and go talk to people just so I never lose that, because it is uncomfortable for me to this day to go out there and do it. So I will still do it today, guys. So that's my little sales spiel that I have, guys. The reps. Put the reps in, okay? Because that's where we build the muscle. That's where we actually learn our skill. And when it gets really uncomfortable and we want to quit and we want to go home, don't back down. Keep pushing, because the miracle is right around the corner. That's all I got, guys. So I ask one thing, guys. If you like this episode, if you got anything out of it, please share it, refer a friend, and subscribe to it.